Hey, hey.
Hello, sir.
Here we go.
How are you?
Here we go. I'm fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Mr. Georgie Ndirangu.
There we go.
Uko salama, you're well.
Uko salama.
Okay.
I should have probably changed my legal name to Georgie on my ID because that's what that's the name that's known. Georgie.
I know.
Georgie Ndirangu.
And I've had 2 Georges in this show.
So there's no George. It's not George anymore. It's Georgie.
It's Georgie.
There we go. There we go.
Wow. Yes, so Georgie. The first Georgie.
All right.
Yeah?
Yes, there we go.
Excellent. How are you, sir?
I'm feeling absolutely amazing. Yes, amazing.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have our first TV king in
go.
Ride Free with George today.
I would like to be
Georgie.
modest and say a prince in waiting. A king is fine.
A king?
Your words, not mine.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Yes. So let's cruise around our city. Our
Alright, here we
beautiful
go.
green city in the sun.
It's not every day you get to just relax and look around.
Kabisa.
All right, let's do it.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of Ride Free with George. And as I try to maneuver through these tight spaces, see how we'll hack it. Yes, today we have Mr. Georgie Ndirangu of BBC. You've seen him on BBC. You may have seen him on CNBC. He's doing great things. He's a man who interviews presidents.
All right, that's true.
Presidents,
that's
man.
True. That's true.
Karibu sana, sir.
Asante sana.
Now that we are talking about your media credentials, accolades, your fame, your expertise.
Okay,
your
expertise. There we agree.
How did you get your start? Yeah, come on, actuarial science. But let me tell you the story.
All right, cool.
Fantastic.
I think it goes as far. But I asked my. There's a time actually we was speaking with my dad, and I asked him, where do you think this, curiosity stemmed from? And then he told me when I was younger, when we were kids, I used to always, when kids wanted to go for bread, I used to always want to get the newspaper. I didn't remember that, but I used to always just want to read out loud to my aunties and anyone who came to visit. So that was pretty exciting to know. And fast forward, I think years later, a decade plus later, I started to pick interest in very difficult things. So I didn't know about media, right? I wanted to study finance, I wanted to be a pilot, I wanted to be a doctor, all these legacy jobs that our African parents prescribe for a lot of us. And then, I picked on finance, did 4 years of that, and then I actually met a friend of mine whom we were classmates, and she went on to be an actuary. Georgie here went on to do something else, be in front of a camera, behind first, then in front of a camera. And I didn't practice in Kenya, by the way. When that thought came, I had already moved to Kigali. It was such a tough time at the onset, so it was just struggling to find whatever works. And God, thanks to God, that happened to be now in a radio station, which then now blossomed into TV, and then the rest. Look, we're here being interviewed about our interviews. Yeah.
Mr. Georgie, you're being a little bit too modest. You're just brushing over. Yeah. Come on. I mean, you went to Kigali. What took you there? Exactly.
Yes. So aside from a bus that took me there, a 25-hour long bus, it was a friend had started to work with a Rwandan company, a friend that we had worked with while in Kenya. And then he asked me whether we'd want to join. We were a group of about 5 living in the same house, a nice place that they had gotten for us. So we were going to do logistics and try to curate some events, and I would handle the logistics bit. I think I'm remembering that story properly. And then it didn't turn out to be what it was, but it was, I think, a blessing in disguise of what needed to happen. And then I found myself just gravitating towards radio, because the guy also introduced us to the managing director of a private radio station in Rwanda. and then we picked up from there. I'm trying to not shed tears because the first 1.5 years in Kigali were a bit tough, but I think we did quite all right given the circumstances. And then now radio happened. So when radio happened, we just continued working there. I learned how to to present. I learned how to project my voice. Of course, my teacher was more francophone, so the teaching had to be redone by someone who was more anglophone. And then coincidentally, the radio started a TV, and that's where we picked it up from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What was the hardest part transitioning to media?
Whew. A lot of people still don't understand how complex media is. Like the technical bit of media is very complex. Some people feel like it's just getting in front of a camera and speaking, or just getting to ask people questions and recording it, or just getting on radio and saying something. But it takes so much. It's a lot of things overlapping. Like you have to understand maybe sound tonations, how to go hello and welcome to, not in how most people make fun of anchors, but that, and then understanding maybe the technical aspects of sound, like what needs to be lowered, what needs to be heightened when you're listening to music. How do you make sure that it's not too much in people's ears? Things like research. Oh my word, research. You have to really immerse yourself in a field sometimes you don't have any understanding of, and just be the person communicating. And then in this age where almost everyone is updated and smart and very knowledgeable based off of the internet, you have to give people something that they've not seen before, or help people understand something to a level that they haven't understood, or like break down something that is so complex. And that is a skill. Some people are trained, some people are born with it, some people are go to school for it. So whichever way you do it, it's really nice for people to understand that media and journalism is a really complex. It's a tough. It's not as easy as a lot of people who do it make it seem. Yeah.
And I think radio gave you a good start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, radio gave me a fantastic start.
Especially when it comes to the voice coaching and all that.
Yeah.
You were talking about what? Intonations and all that?
Intonations, yeah. Also, so like around that time, I think I got to understand also dynamics of listenership and, viewership. I started off on radio as... I was called Big George, which is ironic because I was a lot smaller then. But Big George, so Big George,
Big
you Big George, exactly, there we go. So I started off obviously as a fraud. So basically, and what I used to do was come on an entertainment show and give updates on what was happening in pop culture around the world. So that was the extremely humble beginning. Because I had no understanding, and they just wanted me to be very comfortable, to say it. The people now who I realized actually do pop culture pieces on radio now, amazing. And I was wondering, is that what I used to sound like? Sadly, no, not like that. But that's what really helped me get into the scene. Yeah, at least even confidence to speak on the mic. Yeah.
Now, George, you're talking about now your media foray began in Rwanda.
Yes.
That's tough because you mentioned francophone. You're speaking international audience, but in a francophone country from an anglophone country.
Yes, absolutely.
Go ahead. What are the challenges? Yeah.
So, so the thing about Rwanda taught me, I think, most of the lessons that I need to learn in life, in my adult corporate life. I didn't have much of a corporate life here. I had worked at the ministry. I had done maybe 1 year, 2 years. I was on a development internship. So when I went, it was being thrown straight into the fire. So you had to make it work. One of the biggest challenges, of course, as you mentioned, was the language. The biggest, I think, the universe is really funny how it works, because around the time when I reached there and my friends reached there, some of my friends as well, was when there was some bit of transition to get English to be more prominent. not necessarily the first language, because there's Kinyarwanda, there's French, and I think that was the best time when we happened to reach, and I happened to reach at the best time when English was now taking a center stage, so to speak. Even by the time we had the first private TV station, the main language was English, and it was at prime time, 8 p.m., which is 9 p.m. in Kenya, and we got to speak in English. So that was one challenge. Another challenge was at least even trying to understand what's it called, like the dynamics of a different country. And then I was also coming from Kenya. I had not left Africa. As early as 24, I left Africa for the first time in my life in 2014. So before that, I had not left Africa. My knowledge was very limited on other countries, across the region and outside the continent. And I think it was, and then now you're told to work within a media station that is Africa-wide, and you have to do extensive research. So ignorance was one of my biggest challenges. Language was another big challenge, and then just getting to understand how people function, because social skills are also very crucial, especially if you're a journalist. You need to know how to work with different emotions and different temperaments. So that was another thing. And poverty. Poverty was a huge challenge. I am definitely not going to lie. When I was on radio, we didn't make much. When I was on the first private TV, we didn't make much. Money started to come in, and at least you could tell people, "Tumia pesa ikuzoe." By the time I was getting to CNBC, but yeah, before that, so those were the three major challenges. Yeah.